Ladies and gentlemen, and starving children, roaming the streets with, I don't know, little scraping shovels for you to bury yourselves in the sand of the doomsday that is imminent tomorrow, February 28th, 2025. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to experience the greatest day in U.S. history. It has been brought to my attention just a few minutes ago, and this news has been going around for 2 weeks now, and for some odd reason, I have not even been notified until just now, which would be the 27th of February 2025. Apparently, like I said before, the world is going to end tomorrow. Now, what the heck am I talking about? Well, apparently, there is a nationwide boycott for a lot against a lot of businesses tomorrow. And I'm just like, whoa, dude, are you freaking serious? Are you freaking kidding me right now? A freaking nationwide boycott? Are you kidding? And this is not like a normal boycott. No, this is considered, what are they calling it? A national blackout day? I'm just like, whoa, wait a second, hold on a second. I thought the Mayans had something going around when they said that the end of the world was going to happen in 2010, and the end of the world was going to end up happening on what was it? When the turn of the century happened, with computers would freeze, Y2K kind of thing. So now we are going to have a actual legitimate end of the world tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Tonight at midnight. So what's going to happen? So this is an article from Forbes magazine. It says People's Union USA calls for national boycott in a February 28th economic blackout. Yikes, bro. A consumer activist group founded by John Schwartz has launched a grassroots campaign to halt spending online or in-store and not use credit or debit cards for 24 hours on February 28th, 2025, in an attempt to disrupt the economic order and take back control of our economic government and future of our country. The People's Union boycott calls for no spending on fast food. Ugh. That means no Whataburger. Wait, I work for a fast food restaurant. Jesus! This is gonna hurt us. Gas or at major retailers. No Amazon, no Walmart, no Best Buy. Starting at midnight on February 28th. Purchases deemed essential, i.e. food, medicine, emergency supplies, are permitted, but only in cash and with small local businesses. I have a hard time trusting initial businesses, but then again, I have an even bigger time trusting bigger businesses now. So I'm just like, I'm not aware of smaller businesses. Is that something like Aldi? I really don't know. After the single-day spending pause, People's Union planned a week-long protest against specific retailers, including Amazon, March 7th through the 14th, Nestle, March 21st to the 28th, and Walmart, April 7th through the 13th. Now, for those of you who don't know, I did actually work for Walmart for about 7 years. Until they fired me from, a woman that was stealing merchandise and was, had her kids with her. There were a number of witnesses that said, that was like her stealing merchandise. But, unlucky to me, I was actually fired because, well, she pulled the race card on me. Yeah, so Yeah, that was the thing. So I was sent into the hole, and the woman, I don't know what kind of advantages she got, but let's just say that I was uh not into it. Also, what is it called? After the single day spending pause, blah blah blah. It is in an unaffiliated protest, Black faith leaders are calling for a 40-day fast or boycott of Target to protest its dialing back DEI initiatives to run during Lent, starting on Ash Wednesday, March 5th. What the hell is going on? Yo, this really is the end of the freaking world. What the hell? The People's Union claims not to be a protest or political party, but a movement of people unionizing to expose corruption in the economic system and resist efforts by businesses, government, and the wealthy elite to exploit workers, suppress wages, and keep the majority of us in a constant state of struggle. The February 28th economic blackout is the group's opening salvo to disrupt and reform the American economic system from the ground up. In general, corporations consider boycotts a mere nuisance and not of much consequence, with some exceptions. Bud Light and Target boycotts in 2023. However, the People's Union economic blackout and the 40-day Target fast are tapping into a groundswell of dissatisfaction in the direction of the country after the last election. Many object to actions taken by the Trump administration to abolish DEI and put power over federal government spending and government workers' jobs into the hands of Elon Musk and the Doge agenda. Now, the whole DEI situation, that is a very slippery slope. Personally, I do, when it comes to things like DEI stuff, when handled well, it is actually a good thing. When mishandled, it could actually be a bad thing. For the most part, what I've seen lately, it has been mishandled. Not only from the left, but also from the right. So, yeah, I don't think DEI is bad. I don't think so. But both sides have been mistreating this acronym at a crazy rate. I'm just going to put it straight out there. And put power over federal government spending and government blah 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 blah. This movement points back to the success of Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott in Alabama in the 1950s and the civil rights protests of the 1960s. This movement has ties to the underconsumption core trend that began emerging last year on TikTok. Wait, that was a thing? I never used TikTok, so excuse my ignorance here. But the thing is that I've known TikTok to be kind of a fork in the road when it comes to ruining the culture of the United States. So that's the thing. It pushes back against blatant materialism and aggressive corporate marketing to entice consumers to buy more stuff. If you're old enough, I think you could actually, like say for instance myself, okay? I hate commercials. I despise commercials. I think the commercials are disgusting. You go to a store for a product. You see a product that's interesting. You go and try to get a product, right? That's how it works. But commercials have been getting more and more egregious ever since TiVo had been initiated. Okay? Yeah, ever since TiVo And even to some extent, when streaming services started way back when in like early 2000s, because companies felt like they're not being heard when it comes to advertising. Bro, there's a store. You get word of mouth. There's social media. We don't need commercials shoved into our face saying, spend money on this, spend money on that, blah, 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 blah. It was good enough with like the goofy Budweiser commercials and what's it called? Bud Light commercials. You know, you're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny, kind of thing. Which was fine. But to shove merchandise into our into our faces like that, it's like the same thing that's going on with like the gacha community right now with you know the games that are you know out there with Hoyoverse. It's the same thing. Okay, so yeah, I'm just like this is kind of ridiculous, the amount of advertisement that companies are pushing out. Underconsumption influencers have emerged on social media to exert social pressure on their followers to consume less and buy more responsibly, including buying secondhand, repurposing used or outdated goods, and gifting unwanted items to those who need it. Mm. I'm a little concerned about this repurposing used items. This may be maybe I can see a lot of people misunderstanding this phrase. So I mean, be very careful with how you read this line, because I can see a lot of goofballs doing some really insane things that might end up putting themselves in the hospital. Let's just put it that way. Underconsumption core goes along with the buy nothing movement that encourages sharing and giving instead of buying new things. I have a truck I gotta take care of, so I mean, I have to get my truck fixed, so I mean, but I do have the parts, so it's okay. I get to spend time fixing my truck anyways. There's that. SeniorForbes.com contributor Shelley Cohen reported the February 28th economic blackout could have unintended consequences for small businesses. I could see that, despite people's unions' call to turn to local small businesses. Nothing that the rising power of consumer activism is at the heart of the economic blackout debate, she writes. Small business owners highlight the delicate economic ecosystem is at stake. Crucial quote. This is not just another protest. This is not just another moment that fades into the background. This is the beginning of something unstoppable. For too long, they have dictated the rules. They have rigged the system. They have lined their pockets while we work harder. We struggle more. We fight for the bare minimum. They keep us divided. They've kept us distracted, and they keep us desperate, because that's how they have stayed in power. But on February 28th, we make it clear we do not have to play by their rules anymore. For one day, we stop everywhere. No Amazon, no Walmart, no fast food, no gas, no major corporations, nothing. For one day, we remind them who actually runs this economy, and when they don't listen because they're going to pretend they don't hear us, we will go harder, because this is just our warning shot. People's Union Swartz in an Instagram post. So, what do I think about this? I do think that this protest can actually be a double-edged sword. So I do hope that these people actually are aware of the unintended consequences of doing this type of protest. I do like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I do like the idea, but I do hope that they are willing to risk the unintended consequences. For the most part, will I take part in this? I work for a food service industry, so it's kind of not in my best interest to do that. You know, but here's the thing. My company has been taken over by a corporation now. It used to be a family-owned business, and it used to be only, situated only in the area in the state of Texas. But over the past couple of, I want to say about 3 years ago, they actually went a little bit more national around the United States, and they've hit up, like a bunch of other states across the country. I want to say maybe about 15 years ago, I actually, somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago, I actually ended up having a job with HEB, which in turn did the same thing that the company that I work for did back then. They, branched out into Mexico, I think? So they went the international route, and they got more money out of that. So yeah, that's the thing. And the fact that I actually work for this company right now has actually ended up lowering its food quality. And recently, over the year, over the turn of the new year, they've essentially, what is it called? Cut people's. They did something to the manager pay. They did something to the manager pay. Oh yeah, they prevented the managers from actually receiving overtime, and the maximum amount of time that they're allowed is 40 hours. But in doing so, they get a pay raise, and they keep their bonuses. But I don't think it's the same amount as they had before. But if you do look at the calculations of the bonuses and the pay raise, it's no different than what they were getting before. But since they got no overtime, the pay is actually less. So they keep their bonuses. They have to work a maximum of 40 hours, no overtime, but they get a higher pay rate. Right? They get a higher hourly rate, which is kind of stupid, to say the least. It is actually disgusting that they did that. So, yeah. That's the thing. I'm going into work tonight at my fast food job. I'm doing the things that I want to do. You know what? In all actuality, it kind of makes sense as to why there was a lot more people buying from my fast food restaurant. So, yeah, the end of the world is coming, people. Get ready, go into your bunkers, put on your tinfoil hats and stuff like that. And, good luck, I guess. Requiescat in pace.